BMW has just begun reacting to Tesla's price cuts, reducing the cost of the iX3 pretty significantly. But should you actually consider one now that the price has come down? I'm going to give you a very definitive answer on that. There's pretty much only one logical conclusion you can draw. Hello my friends, welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. My name's Sam Evans and I'm coming to you from Melbourne in Australia. My boys are about to race today. They raced yesterday. They raced all week. It seems like the final day is going to be today. I can't wait for that to be finished so that I can chill out and have some good sleep. But I've got to say, reporting on this stuff is very, very interesting, and it makes me often wonder, why do human beings make the decisions they make? Why do they do these kinds of things? Why on earth would someone pay this much money for a product with this safety score? Frankly, I don't understand it. Really don't understand it. Now, BMW has reduced the price here in Australia of the iX3 by $10,000. In fact, it increased the prices of all its gasoline-powered cars in Australia, but it reduced the price of the iX3 by $10,000. It's a pretty significant discount. However, that means it's still incredibly expensive. The iX3 now costs 105,000 Australian dollars, or around about just over 70,000 US dollars, making it cheaper than the plug-in hybrid version. Isn't that interesting? You know what? The plug-in hybrid version is much more complicated. Think about it. You've got two different types of propulsion. You've got battery pack. You've got an engine. Look, I personally think it's a big mistake to buy a plug-in hybrid. And one of the reasons for this is they are literally the most complicated car you can buy. There has never been a more complicated car ever made in the history of cars. Look at the plug-in hybrids coming from Mercedes these days. Multiple transmissions. They're just so incredibly complex. If you've got to have a vehicle long term, if you're going to have it for the next 10 years, I wouldn't even go close to these vehicles. I just think there's so many different things that can go wrong with them. So it's good to see BMW actually charging less for the iX3, the full electric version, than the plug-in hybrid. This makes it pretty much a no-brainer for people who really want to buy an iX3. Now, interestingly, the Tesla Model Y is actually very similarly sized to the iX3. In fact, it's just a tiny bit bigger, but because it's more of a coupe-shaped rear end, they actually have a very similar interior volume. Well, the iX3 price cut actually follows Tesla's recent decision to reduce the price of its top-selling Model Y SUV by around $3,400. So here in Australia, Tesla didn't reduce the prices of its vehicles all that much because there's still a massive amount of demand for them. So they didn't need to. They reduced the price by the equivalent of about $2,000 US dollars, really nothing compared to some places. That said, the vehicle prices are still very competitive here. The performance model is now 95,000 Australian dollars. That's around about 65,000 US dollars. So it's, similar price to the America. And that means it's actually $5,000 less than the Kia EV6 GT. In Australia though, the BMW iX3, basically the obviously equivalent model to the Tesla Model Y, only comes in one gradient. That is, it has a 210 kilowatt, 400 Newton meter electric motor at the rear axle, which has an 80 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery pack. So not a lithium ion phosphate pack. The base model Tesla Model Y in Australia has the lithium ion phosphate battery pack. It's much smaller than that, probably around about 70 kilowatt hour pack. So it's, a fair bit smaller, but it is significantly lighter car than the iX3. In fact, it's about 500 pounds lighter, meaning you're going to get a similar range, right? The iX3 claim range 460 kilometers, nearly identical to the Tesla Model Y's range, even though it has that significantly smaller battery pack. So therefore, of course, the Model Y will be significantly more efficient. That's not necessarily the reason you should buy a Model Y instead of the iX3. I mean, I think the Model Y clearly is the better car, but there's other compelling reasons for why that's also the case. And one of those is safety technology. Now, I have a BYD Atto 3. It does have a 5-star safety rating from Euro NCAP, right? However, the safety technology on my Atto 3, people say Tesla slammed their brakes on. Try driving a BYD Atto 3. It's done it to me numerous times, and I've only driven 600 plus kilometers in it. Yeah, the safety technology, in my opinion, in the Atto 3 is not that great. And BYD have even said that themselves. They've got a fair bit to work on in terms of ADAS. Every single journalist who has reviewed the Atto 3 has admitted the ADAS systems are not that great. They're okay. Tesla's ADAS systems are significantly better. This is a fact. Its Euro NCAP safety score is in the 94% for safety systems. The BYD, I think it's about 75%. However, BMW iX3, even though it's more expensive than Tesla Model Y, significantly more expensive, and obviously twice the price of the BYD Atto 3, scores 58%. Now, how can this car get a 5-star safety rating when it gets 58% in the safety assist department? Safety assist, that seems like the key part of the safety of a car, and it scored 58%, and yet they gave it a 5-star safety rating. That to me makes a mockery of the entire system. 58% is good enough. Well, if you say that the Atto 3, the BYD Atto 3, has significant space for improving its safety systems, with the 75% score, BMW gets 58%, and you give it 5 stars, to me, all right, that's a pretty compelling reason. Aside from the fact that the Model Y is significantly cheaper than the BMW iX3, it's clearly much safer. And I'm not the only one saying this. Pretty much everyone, including the safety departments themselves that test the cars, are saying the Model Y is safer. In fact, it's the safest car ever made, aside from the Model S. That's a pretty compelling reason to buy it, I've got to say. Now, whether or not you think the iX3 is super luxurious or not, which I don't think most people do, it's good, it's decent. It's it's more of a value price luxury, maybe you could say. I don't know how to phrase that, but anyhow. I don't think any of that perceived luxury improvement over the Model Y is worth that massive detraction in terms of safety. When you actually drive a car, it's quite frustrating when the safety systems don't work at a high level. For example, cars beeping at you for no reason, stopping for no reason, doing weird things you can't turn off. That's frustrating on a daily basis. And if the BMW iX3 scored 58%, I don't think it's going to be that nice to drive on a daily basis. I think there's a good chance if those safety systems are doing all those things, you're going to get sick of it pretty fast. Now that said, I'd still buy it over the plug-in hybrid version, but not over most other EVs. In fact, a Hyundai Ioniq 5 would be better. Lots of cars would be better than the iX3. Even with the $10,000 discount, they're still $105,000, making it significantly more expensive than the Tesla Model Y. For example, the Model Y costs, what, $68,000, meaning it is literally nearly $37,000 cheaper than the iX3. Now, you'd want the iX3 to have an incredible amount of luxury and significantly improved experience than the Model Y. I don't think it does, but I could be wrong. What am I missing, guys? Please, some of you, tell me in the comments, what am I missing? Why is the iX3 worth paying an extra $37,000? Or do you think it's worth paying that? Or is this BMW just taking us for a ride? I think they're taking us for a ride. I could be wrong though. Thanks for watching, my friends, and have a great day.